is here today.
Mhm.
And like I said, it is the best weather to build a snowman or a snow person because
Yes.
it's so heavy and packed.
Yes.
We have received snow since October,
Mhm.
all the way through April 16th as of yesterday and today.
Mhm.
And we've never had snow this late in the year, ever.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us a virtual tour of the weather conditions. So, in fact, until I came to your country in the year 2022,
Sure.
I, in fact, didn't experience any snow in my lifetime. For the first time in my lifetime, I witnessed the snow and I experienced the snow. And so I was so lucky to enjoy the snow conditions along with my colleagues that come to the program way back 2022. It was in Arkansas state.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. And some people love snow. Other peoples would rather have the hot, dry condition. I would like a balance between the two myself. Otherwise, it's too hot.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Ms. Nomi, we are not going to waste your precious time. We are so excited to interact with you with our questions. So, could you please introduce yourself a bit so that we can ask the questions, please?
Oh, absolutely. So I feel so honored to come in this evening to all of you to talk about the topic of STEM or STEAM in education. My name is Naomi Hemisath Harm. I live in the United States, within the state that's called Wisconsin. My background is I'm a teacher, yet I'm a STEM specialist for kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. So our children that would be graduating, going on to college or into the workforce. I also do a lot of mentoring of young girls and young women. Actually went to prepare them for college. And the big focus is everything STEM right now. And what types of STEM experiences can we afford our children, of boys and girls, to really help them pursue their future careers in STEM? So I'm here today to help answer some of your questions, and I do have some resources that I'm going to share with your teacher for further investigation that I hope that you can pursue, that you might find something that very much interests you too.
Yes, and in fact, it is our privilege to host your session. We know that you are an excellent educator from your state, and I have known to you, I think, for more than 4 years. So
Yes.
I follow your course and I follow your the great activities with your students. So today we are so lucky to meet you again. So yes, as you have just mentioned, the STEM and STEAM are the two in fact the innovative programs that are being implemented worldwide, I think. So
Yes.
I wish that in India too these two programs to be implemented in all schools so that all people in the world can become a global citizens with the knowledge
Yes.
of STEAM and STEM. So Farina, over to you. It is your I'm going to start with you first.
Okay.
Farina.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, dear. It's so good to see you.
My name is Farina. I'm a the student. I'm from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. Here, my question is: could you please tell us about leadership of strategies?
So
And
she's yes, she's
Mhm.
asking about the leadership strategies.
Yes, the leadership strategies that I personally provide, I first and foremost use ISTE standards. Those are standards that help guide us in education with technology integration. But when it comes to STEM especially, we look at what are the world's problems that we currently have and how can we as a collaborative team help solve them. So my strategy is anytime that I work within a school district, we work with teachers, we work with administrators, but we also have students as part of that leadership team. We have a great deal of students that are from 12 years old to 18 years old that are part of a team to help us lead an initiative within a school. Currently, one of my local schools, they want to know more about artificial intelligence. And the big talk also is ChatGPT, which is an artificial intelligence tool or resource that can help, that we can ask questions and it can actually give us an incredible feedback of a response. So that leadership initiative is, how can we use technology and STEM in education for good? Because sometimes we know technology can be biased or it can be used for not good. So our leadership initiative is to involve everyone from the level, from parents, community, teachers, administrators, and students involved, that when we implement a new STEM strategy. Examples also can include robotics, computer science. How do we implement that successfully so that every child has the access and equity in a fair learning setting, that everybody has that learning potential to try that STEM activity?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sai Surya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, and it's good evening for you, isn't it, dear? Okay.
Thank you. I am. My name is Sai Surya. I am a seventh grader. Do maths and science lessons overlap?
So, Hari, can you repeat that just one more time?
Sai Surya, could you please repeat one more time?
Do maths and science lessons overlap?
Oh, do math and science overlap?
Yes.
Yes. What I like about what you just, first of all, what I heard you say, you want to know if math and science overlap. And yes, I say they're a very happy partnership. So anytime that when I'm teaching or working with students or teachers, we showcase how math and science can easily work together. So when I wear my scientist hat, I'm collecting a lot of data, I'm doing a lot of experiments, and I'm trying to discover how it works. But when I wear my scientist hat, I also need to know, how does the data work? How do I interpret it? How do I analyze it? So together, we need math and science together because they're like a happy partnership, you could say. One is not inclusive of the other. We need to make sure that that they come together and that we can use both forces of good of math and science to tell our learning story. So yes, and when you continue to pursue a future career, to have strengths in both math and science, that's a bonus. That's what employers are looking for, that you have this rich, cultivated mind, that you can see that you can incorporate all of those types of studies together.
Yeah, thank you. Bushra, over to you. Bushra.
Hi, ma'am.
Good evening, dear.
How are you, ma'am?
I am very good, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you today.
My name is Bushra and I'm a 8th grader from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. I would like to ask a question. My question is, what training do teachers receive for teaching STEM education?
Okay. I got to make sure that I understood that because it broke up a little bit during that time, and it's just our internet connection.
Yes. So what training do teachers receive to teach the STEM education?
Yes. Okay. So I got part of that. So what types of training do teachers receive?
Yes.
Okay. So as an example for myself, not only did I receive my teaching degree, I continued on to receive my master's degree in educational technology, but also with learning communities. Because when we are earning a master's degree, we also work with communities of learners, of teachers and students. Also, we have an opportunity that you can pursue a specific certificate in STEM. If you're really searching for something of how science and math work together, you can pursue that certificate. Or if you're looking for something when we talk about STEAM and the A in STEAM, which can now be artificial intelligence, agriculture, and also the arts, how they all work together. So to pursue more STEM to help me as a teacher, I continually improve my skills, that even throughout the year, I'm taking courses that are highlighting how I can include STEM in my curriculum with my students, or how I can work with it in the library media center. I incorporate maker spaces, hands-on design and technology tools, but then how they work in our real world. and why we're working in a problem-solving and critical thinking environment. So all kinds of different strategies are incorporated, and especially the maker spaces are helping build a stronger confidence in teachers when it comes to STEM.
Thank you. So, Jagadish, over to you.
Yes, sir.
Hello there.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Jagdish. I am studying 8th grade at Z.P.H.S School. Can I have?
Yes, Jagadish, go ahead. Your voice is breaking a bit, so please go ahead with the question.
What is the importance of STEM education in the classroom?
Why is it important for STEM education in the classroom?
Yes.
Well, it really reflects our world of today and how we learn. It's everything around us when we look at how our world works, how our machines work, how we interact socially online with people, how we're here today, coming to you from the United States and coming to you to India. All of this strategy of the learning components of the technology, it shows and models how we need people to work with, but we also need the technology in STEM and education in order to connect with people around the world. It's very important that our structure or our IT infrastructure is strong. And if it's not, that's when we can't communicate effectively. STEM and education also in the classroom is so important because it provides hands-on learning experiences. It's important for us to talk and communicate, but when we can tactily or touch and feel and build and create, that's why it's important, because it's meeting the needs of more learners in diverse ways, because not all of us learn the same way. But STEM is really the positive of the diversity that comes in to strengthen our understanding of our world and people around us.
Yes. So, Miss Nomi, I have one supplementary question regarding this particular STEM and STEAM. So, what exactly the career opportunities for those who completed these two excellent programs of STEAM and STEM? So, within America or maybe outside America, and what kind of job opportunities are there for the students? Because these days, every school offers these prestigious programs. So we don't know how quality they are giving to the students regarding these two branches. But within USA, what kind of job opportunities are in place for these students who leave their classrooms after schooling?
Oh, excellent question. I love that. The biggest opportunity right now that when you pursue a stronger STEM education and that you've been involved with STEM learning, employers are looking for more individuals that have an open mindset, that have an opportunity to really critically think and problem solve, and looking at problems that other people can't think about it differently, because your approach is you're more open-minded. You can strategize and build and create and take apart things, but knowing how can I work with another person? So STEM, of why it's so important, the careers that are out there, it leads into being a scientist. It also leads into being, you could be a neurologist as a doctor. It also means that the job chain, even for being like a future, let's say a nurse career or health profession, we need somebody to be in radiology, to do the ultrasounds. We need someone to do the lab and blood work. But the biggest thing that I've seen that's really catapulted in our world is many surgeons right now guide the robotics of AI robotics, of having a surgery. So last year, my appendix erupted. And because of that, they had to go in and take my appendix out. The surgeon was there, but it was a robotic that did the surgery on my tummy. I had no idea this was going to happen. So in order to have a STEM career, the jobs are continually changing, but we need the big, beautiful brains of our workforce, of each of you children, to know how to work those machines and guide those machines so that we have consistent applications, you could say, that perform these types of surgeries. So that's just one area that's exploding is healthcare in STEM, where we still need that human-centered focus to guide the machine learning. And that's the biggest part that we're seeing. But we're also seeing in the STEM field of a job, we're looking for more people to help solve our global warming situation. We need more scientists. We need more geographers. We need all of these individuals to help us solve our world's greatest problems. That's where we're seeing. And STEM careers are being generated every day, new types. So I will send to your teacher, there's 27 new jobs that will be incorporated by the year of 2030. And I have them in game-based cards that I created for ISTE. So I will send those to you so the kids can see these are what their future careers could look like.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for giving elaborate analysis over the job opportunities. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Jaishnavi Likita, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, dear.
How are you, ma'am?
I am doing wonderful today, and I hope you're doing well too.
My name is Z.P.H.S Ilavaram, a sixth grader. I would like to ask one question, ma'am. Could you please tell us about leadership strategies?
Yes. So and I know that was part of a question maybe asked earlier.
Yes,
but
yes.
Even more leadership strategies is working with your amazing teacher. That's part of a strategy. I work very closely with teachers in order to effectively implement STEM programs in school districts. But it's also important that students have a voice and a choice in their learning. So the strategy is also to incorporate the students, because we want to know what your learning passion is so that we provide you the opportunities to excel your big, beautiful brain to pursue your future careers.
Thank you. Lohita, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is Girija. I am a 9th grader. Can I ask my question, ma'am?
Yes.
What are the career opportunities for those who study STEM education?
So
And you might have to, could you repeat that for her?
Her voice is breaking at the moment because the poor network connectivity is actually the issue. So Lohita, would you mind asking the question one more time, please?
What are the career opportunities for those who study STEM education?
So if I heard that, it's what type of studies did I have to pursue for STEM education? Was that correct or no?
No. Actually, he asked that what are the career opportunities. That means I have already asked the question. So, Lohita, yes, you could ask some other question and over to Tedipia.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am. This is Tedip, a 7th grader. I am from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes, please.
What does a STEAM classroom look like?
Oh, very good question. And I will also send some links and pictures of what it can look like. STEAM classrooms look different in every school that I work in. Some STEAM classrooms they're called rotation stations, where they put STEM and STEAM activities on a mobile cart, and children can go through different types of learning scenarios. Some include computers and coding. Some include no technology at all. We call them unplugged activities, where you're creating and making with a design thinking strategy and using paper and pencil and drawing. Others may include such tools as microbits or makeys or 3D printing pens, but it's more hands-on that we can afford our children. Our STEM environments also are very inclusive of the library media centers. That's where we have resources of great literature, great videos, and extra resources where the library media person can help integrate STEM into any content area. We try our best not to teach STEM separately. We try to include it in everything that we do, in kindergarten all the way through high school. So every environment's a little different, but it's very hands-on. Like I said, again, there's many rotation stations. And then sometimes in our library media centers, they have a whole wing of learning environments that kids can explore, create, tinker, and make.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Husniya, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, dear.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Nice to meet you too.
My name is Usniya. This is grader. Can I ask a question, ma'am?
Yes, please.
What does STEM mean to education process and culture of a school for students and educators?
So could you repeat that just one more time?
What does STEM mean to the education process and culture of a school for students and educators?
So what does the STEM education process
Yes.
of the culture mean to the teachers and the students, correct?
Yes.
Right. Well, it's very important to many of our teachers and students, especially if it's a school that's dedicated just for STEM. Some of our schools do not necessarily have a dedicated STEM school, but it is the culture, meaning everybody values the mission and the vision of that STEM component. What that means is everyone understands, first and foremost, what is the learning outcome of the why and the how we're going to integrate that STEM program in our school. And that's why it's so important that when you do implement the STEM program focused on a cultural-based integration, that it's inclusive of any child of any ability can participate. Diversity is basically celebrated, that everybody comes with a different learning background, and we strengthen that background when we integrate that STEM learning experiences. And again, teachers and students and parents and administrator leaders work very closely together to ensure that every child is successful with accessibility of resources and experiences, and that not only do they come to the classroom to learn, there are components that they can take home and continue to learn at home as well, to educate and have that whole experience educate the whole family at home too.
Okay, thank you. Subramania Srinivas, over to you.
Hello, ma'am.
Good evening.
How are you, ma'am?
I am doing wonderful. I'm glad that you're here today.
Okay, ma'am. This is Subramania Srinivas, a 7th grade student. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes, please.
What does a lesson or unit look like when STEM is infused?
Oh, excellent question. I love what you're asking. When we integrate a lesson or an activity in the classroom with STEM, we first always start with the big question that we're trying to solve. So everybody's on the same page of why are we doing this lesson and how is it going to impact the learning? Then we may introduce a small video clip. It could be a quote. It could be a picture to jumpstart that lesson. And then the teacher gives an overview for just 3 or 4 minutes. Then we provide that hands-on learning experience right away for the kids to put on their scientist hat, their mathematical hat, their artificial intelligence hat, we call it, their technology hats. And then they take on that role of that person to solve that problem in a collaborative team. Normally it's 3 or 4 children that are grouped in a grouping. We call that a transformative trio if there's 3 of them. If there's 2 of them, we call them a dynamic duo. So they work in a partner to solve a problem. They collect data and they document the data on a learning log. They build and create, they take pictures of what they're doing. If something doesn't work, they take it apart again, then they rebuild. There's times that things just fail and don't work, but they document the learning process to improve it the next round. Then the kids come back together and then we talk about the big picture. What did we learn? What did we struggle with? How can we make it better? And then as we close the activity out, each student, individually reflects on their learning process and also asks more questions that we can include in to close out that activity. A lot of our STEM activities, some last 45 minutes for each session, and some are in the United States, we have a system called a block period, where we do STEM teaching and learning for an hour and a half or 90 minutes at a given time, and then we rotate the students through the rotation stations. It's more important for students to have hands-on, but to, excuse me, also have opportunities to ask more questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Dikshit,
Welcome.
over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad that you're here today.
My name is Dikshit. I'm a 7th grader. I would like to ask a question, ma'am.
Yes,
go ahead.
please.
What are the components of STEM education?
And could you ask it one more time?
What are the components of STEM education?
Is it what
Components.
are the
What are the components of STEM education?
what are the competence of STEM education?
Yeah.
Well, and again, we really use the structure of the ISTE standards. So we have standards in the United States that we use that can be used globally as well. But the competence is what we're looking for is that we want to make sure that when a program is implemented, that it provides hands-on learning access for children. It allows for them to build learning confidence within them, to be a stronger problem solver, a critical thinker, also to provide for them to be a global solutionist. And what that means, a global solutionist allows children to see a problem of how they can solve it locally, but how it impacts our world globally. So they see that bigger picture. We also have lots of reflection that our children use so that we can document the learning gains or any setbacks to make sure we as a teacher can intervene if a child is struggling, because we want to make sure that every child is successful in their learning as well. Okay. Oh, I can't hear you now.
Yes, one last question is coming up now, and it is Bhagyasri. Over to you. Bhagyasri, do you have any
Sir?
question? Yeah, do you have any
No,
questions?
sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Yes. So, yes, I think my students have all asked the questions, and it is 8 minutes time is left. And so I would like to ask one question. After that, I request you to give a final message to my students. So my question is, are the public schools are in demand in your state, especially, or the private schools are patronizing? So what type of school system is more popular in your state, especially?
So you want to know, is it between the public and private school systems that you're?
Yeah, public, and which one is more popular, and which one is the parents' most sought after school system in your state?
Right. You know, that's a good question that you've asked, because in different regions of the United States, some of our private schools are more strong in STEM. I just was in Florida last week, and there were some private schools there, and everything was focused on STEM and Prep Academy. They want to make sure that their children at that high school level are very prepared for their world, whether they choose to go to a 2-year technical college, a 4-year degree, or even entering the workforce. Yet when you come to the Midwest, the strength in STEM education is really in our public school systems, because they have a stronger I should say STEM education integration. So different pockets of the United States have different focuses and priorities, because each state sets the standards of how STEM is integrated into that particular state. So I would say more so on the East Coast of the United States, from Florida all the way up to New York, they have some phenomenal private schools that are very rich in STEM education, I would say. In the Midwest, it would be more so the public school systems of where their focus is and how they dedicate the money to integrate. But then when we go to the West Coast, it's a blend of everything from private to public. But either way, parents have an opportunity to really search out, do I want my child to go to a public school or private school? But you also look at the mission and vision of that school district. And if you're looking for STEM, that's what you'll be looking for and talking with that principal or administrator, and then they can guide you accordingly. We have such a thing that's called open enrollment in the United States. So even if I am in a borderline that if my children were young enough to still go to school, I can still open enroll to the neighboring school district because they have a stronger STEM academy. But it is sometimes competitive, and they only allow so many kids in at a time. But in today's world, parents and children together should seek out the best education that you can to meet the children's learning interest, their learning passion, and what they see themselves as their future career. So I'd say it's important to really invest in the best education we can attain or receive, or what's in our local community that we can invest in.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, and we learned a lot of facts about the STEM and STEAM, and we are so thankful to you. So before we end this session, could you please give a final message to my students?
Yes, the final message I'd like to leave with each and every one of you is that you all have this big, beautiful brain. You are the guide, and you have the opportunity to invest in your future careers. And why that's so important is because you are going to be our global solutionist that I and your teacher will, at a given time, will never see. We know that you're going to make a positive impact on our world that's going to affect our culture, our climate, all of our animals that live on our earth, and all of the people that we interact with. So remember, first and foremost, to always be kind, always be humble, but always have an open heart to learn and to listen to others so that you can empathize with them to understand how you can contribute to a greater world of good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful message. So students, you please turn on your cameras so that we can see if there is any group photo I can try. Nomi, if you don't mind, could you please take a group photo from your side? And
Okay.
I will try to take a group photo. All of you turn on your cameras and keep smile. So it's an opportunity today, and in fact, most of my students have witnessed the snow conditions. Probably this is their first time in their lifetime to witness the snow live from your state. So
Right.
I think, yes, still few more students are there. I think they need to turn on their cameras. Please turn on your cameras. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Nomi, for your time. And we will see you soon. And we would like to interact with your students, especially in order to know more about their opinion about the STEAM and STEM. So that my students can show more interest towards this phenomenal stream. So I request you if there is any possibility in the future, and so please consider my request.
Absolutely, I will. And I'm going to follow up with the resources I mentioned. And I have some STEM and STEAM design challenges for the children that
Yes.
they can do at home. So more choice and opportunity to personalize their learning.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
And
you,
see you
everyone.
soon, and have a great day.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Have a great day.
Bye, ma'am.